Happy New Year, everyone. It's started with 2025 has started with Bristol City dropping another 2 points in injury time on the road, this time at home park. And despite our good record of winning 3 games in a row against Plymouth since they've come up from League One, that has ended in injury time through Julio Pleguezuelo, who scored in the 91st minute to secure a 2-all draw for Argyle at home park against Bristol City. It was another sickening result in terms of how the game ended. For Bristol City, we've had Sheffield United, we've had Hull on the opening day, we've had Sunderland away, we've had a lot of games where we found ourselves in good positions and actually have looked fairly comfortable in terms of defending the lead, and just apart from Sheffield United, and then just go away and make a silly mistake, and then, well, the game completely changes. And actually, because of the 5 additional minutes of stoppage time, Plymouth Argyle could have easily created another big chance and could have easily won the game, but thankfully they didn't, and we got out of dodge with a point to Bristol City. This is how the Robins started. It was Max O'Leary in goals, a back three of Zach Viner, Rob Dickey, Luke McNally. It was George Tanner who came in place of Ross McCrory, working his kind of game load and whatnot, with Cam Pring on the other side, Max Bird and Jason Knight in midfield, who were absolutely outstanding. Max Bird, seriously good player, as I've said multiple times. Mehmeti, Twine, and Naki Wells as our kind of front three operating to harm Plymouth. Plymouth, obviously, no Wayne Rooney. He left yesterday and created a little bit of uncertainty. We expected a bit of a bounce. We expected a bit of a reaction from the Argyle players, and we kind of got that. And Bristol City were always going to have to be wary of that. Liam Manning mentioned kind of the uncertainty and a manager leaving. You don't really know what to expect. And it was Joe Edwards in the dugout for Plymouth. This is how they lined up: Conor Hazard in goal, three centre backs: Pleguezuelo, Souks, Galloway, Mumba, Sorinola, Randall, and JB in midfield. Whitaker, El Hadj, and Ryan Hardy front three. And straight away, you're looking at that front three with Sissoko on the bench, with Obafemi on the bench, and it's a front three with options that can harm you, and they did. They scored 2 goals and were good value for it. City started the game relatively off it, didn't really get to grips with it, and then there was this 5-minute period before the first goal on minute number 32 where we kind of got the ball a lot more. We weren't necessarily probing in terms of a chance or a big chance coming, but it felt like we're just taking control of the game with more. Plymouth had a bit of reaction, and you'd expect that. As I mentioned, they had a little bit more of a zip about them, but we showed kind of good resilience to get out of there without conceding. And then the 5-10 minutes of leading up to the goal just up the intensity, and then it's a simply sensational ball by Max Bird. He picks the ball up in the middle of the pitch, plays it through to Naki Wells, who may well be in an offside position. It's very tight. I have seen them given VAR, Premier League. Again, all of those kind of things, all those kind of caveats could have been given as offside. It was tight. It was very tight. 50-50 either way, and Naki Wells gets in behind. He lays it off to Mehmeti. Mehmeti's got an open net, and Conor Hazard, well, he tries to get out of the ball because, well, it's a 2-on-1 against. He's got 2 Bristol players in front of him, Conor Hazard, and then Mehmeti taps into an open net, and it's his 9th goal of the season, I believe. And he's been on. He looked again real threat for Bristol City, and looked a real, kind of live wire and a real kind of attacking outlet and an option for Bristol City to give the ball to and get up the pitch. And so really good to have Anis really come into form and shows some, really promising signs. So have, incredibly useful to have him as an informed player. Minute number 42, Cam Pring goes off injured. Hayden Roberts comes on. I thought Roberts had a few moments against Morgan Whitaker where you kind of go and just gets close to him. There was one moment when we were 2-1 up where he doesn't get close to him, and then Whitaker kind of just breezes past him and doesn't put the greatest of balls into the box and gets straight at Max O'Leary. But yeah, if you give a player like Morgan Whitaker space, and I'm not sure about the extent of the injury to Cam Pring, if that is a kind of a mid to long term one, we're going to have Hayden Roberts playing, and we need him to step up. So Yeah, we go into half time 1-0 up. Going into second half, and despite Bristol City being 1-0 up, it was relatively even that first half, and you'd expect maybe a little bit more from Plymouth, and they're going to up the intensity, and maybe they'll come after Bristol City in a more kind of attacking fashion. That is exactly what they did, and Bristol City had a very, very good chance. Naki Wells uh, has a volley saved by Connor Hazard. It's a brilliant ball in by George Tanner from the right-hand side, and it's first time volley, and it's a really good save. And it felt like, okay, can we go 2-0 up? We don't go 2-0 up, and on minute number 55, minutes into the second half, it's again another re-emerging kind of concern and a real worrying sign where Bristol constantly are, even if we start second halves well, we seem to find ourselves. We seem to find a way to concede goals in the start of the second half and in stoppage time as well. A real disappointing one. Morgan Whittaker gets run on in the right hand channel after good play, and I think it's Randall to Sorinola down the line, and Whittaker. Then everyone moves towards the near post, and then Rami Al Hajj is just isolated at the back post. You can't really point fingers at anyone. It's a good finish by Rami Al Hajj because he has to take it first time, and he does. And I thought he was a bit of a live wire actually. I thought he played really well for Plymouth, and looks like a really good kind of technician. And if I think he's there on a permanent, so if Plymouth go down, we may see other Championship clubs having a sniff about him because he looks like a really good technical player. Then it's a good finish. It's 1-1 at that point, and you're kind of going right. Okay, don't collapse. Stay in the game, and then maybe this Plymouth team is quite open. Maybe we create another big chance, and maybe we score. Morgan Whittaker literally hits the bar a minute after we concede the first goal, and at that point it all kind of just kicks in. You're kind of going, right, not again, please no, Bristol City, try and just find a way to keep yourselves in the game. And that's exactly what we did. And when you've got the quality of a Scott Twine, of a Naki Wells, and well, the literal engine in our midfield that is Jason Knight, you're always going to find a way to create chances, and that's exactly what happens. Naki Wells lays it off into Scott Twine. It is a ludicrous ball by Scott Twine. It is sensational. He just lifts it all out. Everyone goes. Knight, furthest person forward, runs onto the end of the ball, and Knight, superb finish, and just lifts it past Connor Hazard in the Argyle goal, and it's 2-1, and City back in front just 6 minutes after Plymouth equalised. And after we go 2-1 up, I don't really feel like Plymouth had a hell of a lot of chances to get back in front. I mentioned the Morgan Whittaker kind of getting in behind Hayden Roberts a few too many times for my liking. But apart from that, when Ibrahim Sissoko came on, when Michael Obafemi came on, it never really felt like we were in too much threat. And even when Andre Gray came on the minute number 86, I never really felt like, okay, maybe Plymouth are gonna, just up the ante. We kept the ball really well in the second half, despite having 45% possession in the second half. We kept the ball really well. We created chances. Max Bird, Jason Knight, absolutely outstanding in the middle of the park. Max Bird in particular, winning tackles. Those through balls, the first one for Naki Wells, and last week against Portsmouth as well. Just generally a sense of, okay, this pair has got control of the midfield. McCrory, when he came on, was fine. Yu Hirakawa, when he came on, was a threat. Could have had an assist potentially. Sam Bell was, I think that was a kind of obvious substitution with, trying to add a little bit of energy into that front line, and we did that. And Sam Bell proved to be a quite good substitution. Actually, he could have scored. George Earthy, when he came on, could have scored as well. He had a shot blocked, and yeah, but unfortunately, it's a silly moment in the 90th minute. It's just as the board goes up for 5 minutes stoppage time. Luke McNally puts in a bit of a rash challenge on our left hand side, and despite Plymouth having shown very little in an attacking sense up until that point, you always felt quality of an Adam Randall, if he can put a good ball in the box, cause a bit of uncertainty with a number of Plymouth Argyle players in the box, and the volume of players in the box can cause confusion. And Bristol City, once again, showing their vulnerability. From set pieces, I think our set pieces are just not good enough, from both an attacking sense and from a defensive sense. When Scott Twine came off, Max Bird's deliveries were pretty poor. That's one part of his game he needs to improve, because Scott Twine's not going to be playing 90 minutes of every game, so when he comes off, well, Max Bird's going to have to step up from a set piece delivery point of view. And despite us having Dickey, Viner, McNally, and Naki Wells, who's quite good in the air, Jason Knight has proved himself to be quite good in the air. He's got a couple of headed goals since his time, since he's joined us. We don't really look confident from attacking set pieces or from defending set pieces. It's a good ball in by Adam Randall, and it just causes confusion. And Dickey tries to head it out. It just kind of stays in that 6-yard box, and that's exactly where you don't want it to stay. And Julio Pleguezello sticks a leg out, and it pokes, and it finds itself, finds its way in. And just a really, really disappointing way to end what was a fantastic away performance, and an away performance where towards the end I thought we had some really good control of the game and really showed some good signs. And to end in that manner is just brutal and just really sickening. That's the only way I can describe it. And yeah, despite 2 back-to-back wins, both at Ashton Gate, to go away from home, find yourself in that good of a position against a pretty vulnerable Argyle side, and not to see out the game, just annoying, and just kind of a sign of where things have been really going wrong this season in terms of seeing games out. We've had, as I mentioned, numerous occasions where Bristol should have seen the game out, or have been on top in games and then have conceded goals out of nothing, and it's been too easy for oppositions to score against us, and that's cost us points this season. It's another example of that, and we're really going to have to work on that and make sure we are better at it. In isolation, is it the worst point in the world? I honestly don't think so. I think it's a pretty decent point, considering, Plymouth, bottom of the league, they're not very good, but they're much better at home than they are away from home, and that was shown in case, actually, at Ashton Gate, where Plymouth completely rolled over for us. We absolutely smashed them 4-0, but it's a bit more of a different game at home park, and they're always a threat going forward. They've got good attacking players. I don't think it's that bad of a point. Many teams have gone to Argyle this season and not won. Middlesbrough, one of them. I think Sunderland lost there, didn't they? So some top teams have gone there and not won. So it's not the worst point in the world. Not everyone's going to go to Argyle and win. So yeah, what I'm trying to say is it's a tough place to go. Bristol have come out there with a point, which honestly, in isolation, ignore the performance, ignore what happens in the game and how it happens. Not the worst thing in the world. However, with the context of how it's happened, the context of the events leading up to the goal, seriously annoying, and a real missed opportunity. It feels like another 2 points dropped, and I think that puts us 3 points off the playoffs, with everyone else around us having to play as well. So yeah, disappointing, and a little bit annoyed at how we've ended that game, because it should have been a fantastic away win. It should have been a fantastic 3 points to start the new year, and should have really brought us within touching distance of the top 6, with everyone else around us having to play. I think Watford lost as well. So yeah, disappointing. But in the bigger context of things, 2 wins in a row, followed up by an away point. Again, not bad. But now we've got Derby at home on Saturday. Derby notoriously not great away from home. If we can back that point up with another 3 points at home, would actually be, in isolation, not the worst point in the world. And then we can start looking ahead and up the table again. But yeah, not, a bit annoying, very annoying, quite frustrating. But hopefully we can put it right against Derby at Ashton Gate on Saturday. Hopefully I'll be there. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Keep safe, and I'll catch you later. Cheers.